just got this email, rad@radradio.com from Sergio.
Hola.
Sergio, Brandon Smart Mexican.
Couldn't that also be
Greek.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Greek.
Sure.
Yeah.
Opa.
But hey, maybe he's a Greek that speaks Spanish.
Cool.
Anyway, behind the scenes thing here. So during the commercial breaks, when she has time, Queenie often exits our building. I assume to inhale some type of smoke.
That just now I had to get my deodorant because I forgot it this morning, so my boyfriend Ford had to come drop it off for me.
Oh, that's sweet.
So Sergio wrote in to say, I just had a Queenie sighting.
No.
Whoa.
I happen to see a beautiful 2020 C8 Corvette with black racing stripes parked, and then I see the beautiful Queenie standing at the door outside of the building.
Beautiful. See, that's where you know that it wasn't me.
Oh,
He then says, more beautiful in person.
Oh, that's sweet.
I got to see where the RAD headquarters is located. Don't worry, your location is safe with me. We're not worried,
No.
Sergio. We now have your license plate and all of the
Exactly.
personal
I know
information
where you
on
live.
camera. We will have you followed, and a large man will show up tonight at your door, making sure you forget.
Now that's me.
I have assignment tonight.
As promised, Shelby Elias from United Wholesale Lending and Finance with Shelby.com in the studio with us again. Good morning, Shelby.
Good morning.
So we got a lot of people curious just by promoting you were going to be on and mentioning this new program that somehow helps or does cover down payments for California firefighters, state school employees. Let's just lead with that. What is this?
Yeah, so it's a great product that allows you to cover the full down payment, and in some cases, you can also get your closing costs covered. It's called My Home. That's what covers the down payment, and it offers 100% financing for really anyone if you meet the qualifications.
So not just these two.
Not just firefighters and state school employees, but really anyone. But it works exceptionally well for these folks because there's no cap. So
Oh,
a
wow.
firefighter can actually, if he purchases a home that's a high balance, mortgage, so he buys a $575,000 home, they'll give him 5% for his down payment.
Wow.
His or her, anybody. So
Wow.
anybody, they can get all the way 5% covered. So on a $575,000 house, that's around $28,000.
So a lot of people are going to ask right away, is that enough? Is that enough for a down payment to get a
Yeah.
house?
Yep. It's the entire down payment, and it's 5% down.
Because
So
a lot of people are walking around thinking I have to have 20% down.
yeah, exactly. You don't have to have 25%. And, for a firefighter or a state school employee, there's no cap on that amount. So that's what's so cool about that program for those individuals.
Yeah, I'd
but
say.
it'll work for anybody. And, some of the qualifications are they have to have, so this will work for a conventional mortgage and an FHA mortgage. On conventional, you need to have a 680 credit score. Okay. On FHA, you need to have a 660 credit score. So, a lot of people think, well, I look at my Credit Karma, and Credit Karma is off. That's giving you
Sorry, I don't
your
mean to
credit
laugh,
score
but-
for.
I know.
But yeah, it is. And then when I run their credit, they're like, what the heck? Well, it said right here on my Credit Karma. Well, it's off. So go to the Experian website, and you want to look up your mortgage score. You have a different score for a credit card. You have a different score for a car loan, and your mortgage is going to score you differently. So look at the mortgage score. Okay, so that is the credit score requirements for the program. Your income limits here in Sacramento County, it's at $170,000.
So if you make more than that, you can't do it.
Correct.
Okay.
Okay. And then if you have more than 20% down in your bank, you can't qualify for down payment assistance. But geez, 20%? I mean,
Right.
gosh.
You can do it
Yeah.
yourself.
Yeah, come on.
Why are you signing up
And
for this?
Is that $170,000 income limitation? Is that combined if you're buying together? Mm-hmm. So they're
But one person can qualify. So yeah, there's kind of ways around that. Same with, the bank statement thing, if you got something in a little different statement.
you got a guy.
Might be all right.
You got a guy that explains how this all works. So this is state of California only, right?
Yes.
It's a state
well,
program.
I'm pretty sure. Yes, I'm only licensed in
Right.
California. So
And you can help run this whole program if they're interested and they think they qualify.
Yeah.
So the big question is gonna be, what's the catch?
well, I mean, the only I would say catch is you have a slightly higher interest rate when you do this program.
Can't do.
glad
When
you
you
did it,
if
'cause I
you
want
sell or refinance, you have to pay it back. But there's no payment due at all, and they don't even hit you for the second mortgage payment when qualifying. So It's kind of a downside, but not really. You know,
the way things are going with housing values too, which we'll get into, you might be able to refinance in a year, get all the equity out, pay that off. You won't care because you're still going to have extra cash flying around. Yeah. And on the credit score thing, we talked about this the last time you were here, because one of the things you'll find, Shelby, is the more you come back, the more you have to answer the same questions. Because we have different people listening, or people that suddenly are interested, that kind of thing. Is that your team has these little fixes, like when they do look up your credit score, if it's not quite where it needs to be, you send out this really, for people that don't understand, odd text. It's like, I have to pay my Apple Card down exactly $93, and suddenly my credit score is going to go up 8 points, and that's more than enough. Whatever that formula thing is, people need to understand that you often have the fixes for it. Because if they check their Experian mortgage credit score and they see, I'm at 652, which is just under, that doesn't mean they shouldn't call you.
Correct. Yep. So we have the ability, it's called a rapid rescore. So once I run your credit, it shows me exactly what you need to do to accomplish whatever goal that we set for you. So then I can go back and tell you, okay, I need you to pay Capital One down by $75, pay American Express off, and I need you to pay your Apple Card down for $150.
On the program you were just talking about, if and what the payback was for the catch, right? If there was one, it's rare these days. But if somebody makes it their forever home, is it? I mean, like, is it literally that? Like when it finally sells because somebody dies or something, that it gets paid back? Or is there like a time limit, a time frame on that?
Honestly, I don't know.
I'll
have to look it up.
Yeah, that's a good
because
question.
it is rare that people do forever
stay in the mortgage
homes.
forever. Correct.
Yeah. So.
We got this email just now, and if you have any questions for Shelby from United Wholesale Lending, that's rad@radradio.com. You can call us, 888-989-9811. Josh wrote in and said, will this program work for a... Wait a minute. Is he trying to get one over, or does he mean this is a different way? For a second home. In other words, does he mean he wants to buy a second home with this, or does he mean I'm not a first-time home buyer?
Yeah.
So let's answer both.
You have to be a first-time home buyer.
Okay.
And it will not qualify for a second home. This is for your primary residence. It has to be a single-family home. It has to be either a condo or a townhome, okay? So it can't be a duplex or fourplex or something like that. It has to be for a first-time home buyer, but also a classification of first-time home buyer is somebody who hasn't owned a home in 3 years. So you could have owned a home, sold it, haven't owned a home for 3 years, and now you're rebuying as a first-time home buyer.
That's great.
Is that recent? That's 3 years you haven't owned a home and you're suddenly a first-time home buyer again.
Exactly, yeah.
Wow.
That is nuts.
Yeah.
Here's a very topical question. This one is from Sally.
Hey, Sally.
Who says, thanks for having Shelby on again. He's been so helpful. Now, we all know if you live in a high fire area, which basically is now west of Denver, that your insurance can be a challenge. Some people you have to pay higher premiums. Some people you're lucky if you can find an insurance company to insure you.
Yeah.
I'd never thought of this. Sally says, will living in an area of an active wildfire, she lives near the Caldor fire, have an impact on doing a cash-out refinance? We had to evacuate for 2 weeks, but didn't sustain any damage.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Thank God you
Will that
didn't.
affect a refi?
It does in some cases, yes.
Really?
They kind of lock us down. They make us do a full appraisal and a check on the home. So if you're in an area where you're evacuated, then we can't do that. So it will affect you, yes.
But as time passes since then, that will... I assume eliminate
it
itself.
will go away,
Okay.
yes.
By the way, we mentioned you in the middle of the evacuations and such, as you have property and homes and such up there. Everything work out well for you?
It did, luckily,
thank
yeah.
God.
But I did. I had to evacuate with my family, and it was very scary.
Yeah,
Have you personally been back up there? I've talked to Matt from Tahoe Blue Vodka, and he says it's a little eerie up there right now.
Yeah, we were there last weekend for the first time back, and I went to the grocery store. There's maybe 10 people in there.
Wow. Were you like figuring out what to take? Was it like
Oh
that?
yeah, I was frantic.
Right? Like how do in your mind?
Literally
how
frantic.
do you like this or that or that's what I always thought. Like because who's got that ready?
Yeah.
Right? Like in case this happens, get that box in the corner.
You're right.
That's what we put aside. I mean, it's like oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And the amount of time you're like, how much time do we have?
We had 6 boxes, and we only left with 2. Because we were like, let's get out of here now.
Yeah.
And really, what was the most frantic part was watching the traffic pile up
Oh, yeah.
outside of our door. We're like, oh my gosh, there's people everywhere. We need to get out of here. Hurry. We're never going to get out of here.
Oh,
And you're in the
gosh,
process of trying to manage your kids, too.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm sure keep them calm and explain to them why they have to choose their favorite things or whatever.
no.
Yeah.
Or what. This falls under that heading of people forget that people from all spectrums of life have real-life problems.
Yes.
That's just a scary thing.
Oh, yeah.
for
And
anyone to
in the
go
midst of all of that, we had a bear that broke into our garage. So that broke the door down down, and there's a bear in there, and we're like, oh my gosh, it was insane.
While you were still there? Or
Yeah, no, it had broken in, so I mean, I didn't check, but that was on our mind. Like, oh my gosh, a bear just broke down the door.
Are they gonna break in?
Jeez.
Yeah. Hungry.
Phone number is 888-989-9811. Hi, Steve.
Hi, I have a employment clarification question. You had said firefighters or state school employees. Does that exclude local elementary school employees?
Well, no one's excluded, is the way I heard you, Shelby.
Correct,
But
yeah.
but in terms of this no limits, do you know which school employees it is?
Any California state school employees.
So that would be.
Yeah, that would work.
That's incredible. Wow.
Let's see. We got this email on the same subject from Cheyenne.
Hey, Cheyenne.
Says, does this program work on manufactured homes?
It does work on manufactured homes, yes. You have to be very clear on if you own a mobile home or a manufactured home. Sometimes we get confused, but it will work on manufactured homes.
What's the difference?
A mobile home actually has, wheels.
Wheels. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Well, no.
But you can't see the wheels, so it's confusing.
I thought you could move a manufactured home too. No.
You can, right?
Okay.
Some of them you can pull
You
up
can
off
move
their-
a single-family residence,
Yeah.
too.
Okay. Well. Okay.
True. Good point. That's where you see sometimes in the flatbeds going down the road.
Hun, a mobile home has wheels.
I mean, I don't think he meant to mansplain, but the question really did kind of lead us to that point.
Shopping carts, they have wheels.
That's true.
I put a lot of my stuff in them.
Yeah,
But that's
you
the
did that.
only difference they'll make between the two is the wheels.
But pretty much. I mean,
Okay.
it's the easiest indicator,
Yeah.
for sure.
We got this email, rad@radradio.com. This goes back to the questions people have all the time. Tim says, question for Shelby. I've never owned a home before. I would like to buy, but I feel the market is too high. When's a good time to buy, and how much is needed for a down payment for a first-time home buyer? Timing the market again every
Yeah.
time, right?
I mean, honestly, it's all relative, right? You could say that the market's high to buy and home prices are high, but how high are rents? I mean, rents are crazy high too. So I wouldn't look at it in terms of, is the market too high? Look at your monthly payment. If your monthly payment is comfortable compared to what you're renting or your financial situation, then I think you're in good shape. Now, as far as down payments, again, I have a down payment assistance program, so don't let that hinder your ability to buy. But a typical down payment is 3% if you have good credit and you're a first-time home buyer for a conventional mortgage, 3.5% if you have not so good credit as a FHA first-time home buyer.
With the little knowledge I have, I kind of feel like when someone asks that, they're not staying there that long or something, right? Because I mean, the longer you stay, you're going to eventually build up that equity, right?
Yeah.
When you go to sales. So I think sometimes we don't think about that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And also, well, first let's back up because it's been a month since you were here. Do you still see the housing market and the refi market continue to grow, and are you still bullish on it looking forward into 2022?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, it slowed down a little bit, which is good. That's what we needed to happen. But it looks great, and it's all about supply and demand, and we can't catch up with the supply because of things like COVID and just building materials in general. It costs so much to build a home that not everyone's out there trying to build more homes.
You mentioned rent, which is sky high throughout most of our area. And what a lot of people don't understand, because their eyes start to glaze over, interest rates are still historically low, which is why you might pay less for a home than you do paying someone else's mortgage. Is there an online calculator that you like that somebody could go, well, okay, if I did get a $400,000 home, what would my payment be? Is there a way that they can figure that out?
There is. I have a great calculator. It's just a mortgage calculator on your iPhone. You can download an app and, plug in an interest rate of maybe 2.875, a 30-year loan, and you can calculate payments yourself.
And your eyes might pop out of your head and go, huh?
Yeah, and that money's not working for you. It's working for somebody else.
Yeah.
You're just flushing it down a toilet.
We just got this email from John.
Hey, John.
Says, Shelby is awesome. I just completed my cash out refi with United Wholesale Lending, signed all my documents last night, and I will have $50K by Monday.
Woo!
Fantastic team that works quickly. Thanks, Shelby.
Awesome. Thanks, John.
Nice.
Then there's this from Raylyn.
Hey, Raylyn.
Is Shelby looking to hire or expand?
Yeah, I am always looking for good people. So, yeah, inquire online and let me know. I'd love to hear from you.
And that's financewithshelby.com. We got this question from Riley.
Hey, Riley.
Says, my wife has been going to school for a few years now, and soon we will both be working. She's going to be making more than me, which is awesome. We are moving to Washington State next month. We want to move into a house by mid next year. And I'm totally ignorant of the process. My question is, what are the first steps to take when buying a home? And then he asked the fateful question, do I go to a bank for a loan first, or do I find a realtor first? Although he's leaving one of the better choices out.
Yes, you don't want to go to the big banks. So contact a local mortgage broker, and you want to fill out the application now, because then at that point, you can see exactly where you're at, and if you need to make any tweaks along the way, you have time to do so.
By the way, we just got a helpful note from Ben.
Hey, Ben.
He says, tell Shelby as long as he didn't have any perfectly cooked porridge, the bear won't bother his home. Thank you. Thank you very much. We got this question from Neil. Says, my wife and I want to buy a home. We both have over 700 credit scores. We make 90 grand a year together. Can we get a home? People are always wondering, do I make enough? Can I get into one? That's
Yeah, I think he's solid.
Absolutely. This one is from no name.
Hey, person.
My husband and I plan to buy a house, but we want to know how soon can we refinance after we buy?
You can refinance right away.
Right away?
After
You
you
can refinance.
buy?
Yeah, you could buy a house, and then so this happens often. Somebody goes to a big bank, gets a bad credit, gets a bad interest rate, then they contact me, and I refi them right away.
Wow.
I can refinance them right
Wow.
away.
I had no idea you could do it
crazy.
that quickly.
I know.
Last time you were on here,
You got to have enough equity in,
Right.
Still got to qualify.
although the way
But-
some of these
but
homes
yeah.
are going up. So, Ben, somebody had a similar question that they had refied recently, and their house has gone up in value again, and they wanted to know, could they refi again? Is there any limit on how quickly you can refi multiple times?
It depends what loan product it is, but on a conventional mortgage, you can literally refinance, in 3 months, 6 months. It doesn't matter. You're all good.
This is from Cece.
Hey, CC.
Says, can I do a refi or cash out if my income to debt ratio isn't good, but my assets are phenomenal?
Well, we can use those assets to pay off debt to improve your debt to income ratio.
What if I'm wondering if they're not liquid assets.
And you can use assets as income, which will in turn allow you to get that debt to income ratio down.
So yeah, and I hate to use sometimes these words that make people's eyes glaze over, but assets can be things that you own, but they aren't cash. Whether art, things like that, they're worth a lot of money. So you have this net worth, but you don't have to necessarily have access to money. Oh, and you have all of this debt. So income to debt ratio, a lot of people don't understand how that really screws you sometimes. We had somebody write in earlier who was in Reno in northern Nevada and was literally trying to get money out of her home to pay off her debt. And the stupid bank, of course, said, your income to debt ratio is too high. And she's like, that's what I'm trying to get rid of.
Yeah.
So some people don't necessarily understand how that works. Can you give a brief 60-second disclaimer on what that is?
Yeah. So your debt to income ratio is the lender's going to look at all of the debt. So they're going to look at all of your minimum payments on credit cards, your car loans, any installment loans, and your current mortgage payment. And they're going to compare your debt to your income, and that's going to produce a ratio. So they're going to look at that ratio and determine if you qualify.
Phone number is 888-989-9811. Hello there, Heather. Go ahead.
Heather.
Hi, sorry, my
that's-
phone cut out.
Oh, boo.
Darn it.
Sorry about that. Good morning. My husband and I sold our primary residence a couple months ago, and we had already purchased the new home we were moving into. So when we got that equity out, we've just been kind of sitting on it, and we have an opportunity to buy into an apartment building with someone else, a smaller building. And I kind of wanted to know if that's something Shelby does and what your recommendation would be as far as how do you go about that when you're buying a property with somebody else?
Yeah, I've done that several times. I have several partners on a lot of different fourplexes and apartments. And, one thing that I would recommend is you want to learn how to analyze the deal to make sure that you're getting a good deal, a good return on your investment into it. And you want to make sure that you're getting put on title, because title is going to determine the ownership. So that's kind of how you can safeguard yourself, is you want to make sure that you're on title, and then you want to analyze your return on investment. So if you're investing $100,000, what is your return on that? And that's the cool thing about investing in real estate, is you can literally look at your exact return. It's not like investing in a restaurant and hoping that the sales go well and projecting sales. You can look at the return and say, the rents are this, my investment is this, my return is this.
What about vetting the people you're partnering with?
Oh, yeah. God.
Yeah, I would definitely vet them out. You want to find out things like, what is their credit score? Let's see how much assets that they have, because if you ever get into trouble, you want to make sure that they have enough money to be able to keep things going.
Hello there, Sally. Go ahead.
Yes. I wanted to know how age affected it. Like me and my husband are 60, and wanted to see about buying a house. And also, I love Queenie, and I should have told her when she answered.
Aw, that's so sweet.
Well, now she knows. Age, you can't rent a car until you're 25. Do they stop selling you homes when you're 50?
Nope, you're all good. And I get that a lot. You can buy a house, refinance a house. Age, it doesn't matter at all. And sometimes I'm refinancing people that are in their 80s and like, I can't believe you're going to give me a 30-year loan. I'm 80 years old. There's no way I'm making it through this.
Okay.
An accountant Rob used to have.
okay.
I also know her.
Mm-hmm.
And years ago, she was 80 something and got a house.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So and I was surprised by that too. I'm like,
What bank is giving this person? He's going to die. Hello there, Heidi. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank
Hey.
you for taking my call.
What's up?
Shelby, I have a question. Do you have any programs that will do an appraisal waiver?
Yes, I love that question. Probably about 50% of all of our refinance transactions right now are getting appraisal waivers. So that's great. We don't need an appraisal quite often. So once you fill out the mortgage application, I can run it. It will tell me if I'm going to get an appraisal waiver. Saves us time, saves us money. It's awesome.
We just got this, speaking of you being awesome, from Kirby and
Kirby.
Sabine.
and Sabine.
Or Sabina, I'm not sure. We were able to refi because of Shelby. It was so easy and incredibly fast that we were just sure that Rob, with the help of Shelby, was stealing our home and putting it in their names. But no, just great customer service and a great recommendation. Yeah, we're running quite the scheme here.
Yoink.
Haven't been caught yet. Oh, I love emails like this. It's from Christy.
Hi, Christy.
Shelby, please settle a bet.
Oh.
We have a 4-bedroom house in Reno that's paid off except for a small mortgage under $30,000 to remodel main living space and kitchen. Okay, so except for a small mortgage would cost under $30,000 to remodel the main living space and kitchen. One of the bedrooms is very small and off of the master bedroom. The closet in the master is practically non-existent, says the woman of the house who is writing this email. Is it more valuable to have a 3-bedroom house with an amazing master suite with a walk-in closet and en-suite bathroom, or more valuable and desirable to leave it as a 4-bedroom house?
You have to analyze the community that you live in. If it's a community where there's, a lot of kids and there's, great schools, then that house is going to be more desirable as a 4-bedroom because more families are going to want it. If it's maybe an older community or something like that, then absolutely. So you have to determine who your buyer is for this house.
Yeah,
if it's going to be a family, yeah. If it's not a family, then it's 100% the closet.
So let me just say hypothetically, and the answer doesn't matter because the decision was already made. Let's say the neighborhood is a fairly well-to-do neighborhood of mostly people over 40 that are in the higher percentile. Not a lot of families in the neighborhood, but big homes.
Yeah.
And let's say the house is technically a 6-bedroom home, but it's the same situation. And the man of the house, who arrogantly has spent his life in broadcasting, buying way too many clothes and shoes, decides
you know him.
to take. I said it's a hypothetical. Decides to take the small bedroom right next to the master bedroom and turn that into a walk-in closet. You like that idea there?
I love it. And I literally, I'm going through a home remodel right now. I did the exact same thing. I took my kid's bedroom and I made it into a master closet.
Closets are the best, kid. You can sleep in in a closet.
Literally. Hello
In the
there.
hall, yeah.
Jay, go ahead.
Hi there, Shelby. I had a quick question. I've recently become unemployed by my own regard. I actually had a talk yesterday with Rob and everybody about that. I'm curious if I'm in a position where I can refinance. I have a huge amount of assets and liquid, cash. But I want to use my equity and start doing some remodels around my place. Is that something I can do while I'm in this position?
Yeah, it depends on. So I can use your assets as income, but they need to be verifiable. So if you have money in a money market or something like that, then I can arrange that to count as income for you. And then we can access it. Just give me a call and I'll be happy to help.
For everyone else out there and us on the show, I'm pretty sure he's the guy that chose to leave his profession of many years.
10-year career.
Because he decided he didn't want to get the vaccination.
That's right.
So it was like of his own choice.
We got this from Steve.
Hi, Steve.
Says, if my wife and I attempt to buy, but her score hinders our ability, can I try a loan? And if we later get a divorce, can she attempt to get half later?
Oh my gosh. Wow. Oh my gosh.
Shelby's not a marriage counselor, but maybe he should be.
Oh.
Yeah, you could always put a loan in your own name. But, and then you can have her on title and just the loan be in your name. So as long as you qualify for the loan by yourself, you're all good.
And if I'll step in and do the other part. If I'm assuming you're in California, if you buy the home in your own name while you're married, yes, she gets half of the value of it regardless of what paperwork she's on.
If you're already thinking this, oh my God.
That's the whole.
Don't buy the home with her and let the girl know where your mind's at. That's terrible.
Here's one, no name.
I know name.
Email rad@radradio.com. Says, my wife and I want to move, but we're not sure how much we can get for our house. Is it okay to put our house on the market just to see how much I'll get for it and then take it down?
I don't think that's okay.
No?
But what you can do is if you speak to any real estate professional, they can pull the comparables. I mean, you can pull the comparable sales in your own neighborhood just by going on to Redfin and looking up the homes that have sold in the last 6 months and find a model match of your house. That's what you could sell it for.
Are you finding more and more entertainment in the questions you get every time you come on the show?
Great.
This one's from Nick. Says, I have a bankruptcy that filed a couple months ago. How long will I have to wait to go through you to refinance, if it's even possible?
It depends on what type of bankruptcy that it is. Chapter 7 has different guidelines than a Chapter 13. And it also depends on what loan product that you're trying to go into. So there's more variables. We need more information.
Hello, Matt.
Hi, good morning, Rat.
Hey.
Yeah, Shelby, I got a question. I bought my house 10 years ago for $99,000. It's now worth $370, and I have $230,000 in equity. Nice. Do I have to use that equity at all?
No.
Or can I just let it sit there?
Yeah, you can let it sit there. Yeah.
So when I sell the house, it would just pay off the house, and then whatever's left of that equity, I get to keep?
Yep, that's exactly right. Isn't that awesome?
Yeah, that's great. All right, cool. Thank you.
I love that.
Always nice to deliver good news. This one's from Christina.
Hi, Christina.
Can we cash out if we currently have an FHA loan and just refinanced last year? Well, I think we covered this earlier, but I'll give her specifics anyways. We bought our house at the end of 2019 for $350,000. The current estimate is up almost $100,000. We refinanced at the end of 2020 to lower the interest rate and currently have a 2.5% interest. But it would be great to pull some cash out for some long-term savings / emergency fund. We didn't know that cashing out was an option if we still owed most of the loan. Is that worth it? Doesn't make sense.
Yeah, so anyone that's in an FHA loan, they need to be looking at getting out of FHA and into conventional.
Why?
Because the mortgage insurance on FHA is so high, you're literally throwing money away for no reason. So any person that is in an FHA loan, your main goal is to get out of FHA into conventional. And then for the cash out, if you want to take cash out, you can take out up to 80% of your home's value. They make you leave in 20% equity when you're taking cash out. So that's how you can analyze how much cash you can get.
Because of your success and knowledge, you often are going to get these questions that blur what you do and then what you also do, which is invest and be very successful at life. So this is from Stephanie.
Hi, Stephanie.
Says, my mother passed away earlier this year, and as her only child, I have inherited her entire estate. It's not a lot in the grand scheme of things, but definitely the most money I've ever had at one time. I'm 37. I have 2 401ks and no debt. I have had an offer accepted on a house that I want to purchase, but I've been considering buying the house outright. I've researched the pros and cons of paying cash versus having a mortgage, and I can't seem to decide which is the right choice. If I bought it outright, I'd be left with $50,000 in the slush fund. I'm nervous to blow my money load in one place. The house is almost brand new. The biggest money item I'm considering for the future is setting up a trust for my children so they don't have to go through probate one day like I did, and I'm just stumped on this decision and hoping that a greater financial mind like Shelby's will be able to share some knowledge and help.
Yeah, that's a great question. So right now with interest rates as low as they are, if she has good credit, she can get an interest rate below 3%. So I would not recommend putting all of your money down when interest rates are that low. Keep the money, finance as much as possible at a 2.8, to 3% rate, and then reinvest that capital into something else because you can make a way better return on investment.
Hello there, Emil. Go ahead.
Hey, good morning, folks. Shelby, I just had a quick question. So we have two houses, my wife and I. My house is under my name. Her house is under her name. That's where her parents live. On paperwork and everything, she lives there, and I live at my house for tax sake. We were thinking about buying a property where it has two houses so my in-laws can move in with us. Mm-hmm. So if we were to sell both of our properties, I know capital gains tax is anything over $250, you have to pay the taxes on it. But since there's two of us selling two houses, are we looking at, what are we looking at?
Well, I would check with your CPA, because if you're selling your primary residence and you've lived there 2 out of the last 5 years, I don't believe you're going to pay any capital gains as long as you've lived there for 2 years. So I would check with your CPA on that. And then in terms of purchasing the house with the in-law, I think that's a great idea.
All right, let's do some more emails here. RAD@radradio.com. No name on this one.
Hey, person.
Oh, I know why. Says, I need some serious help with my home. I purchased my first home, and I found a major plumbing issue in the main line under the house.
Oh, no.
Insurance and home warranty do not apply.
Oh, God.
I've been quoted $30,000 for the repair. Is taking out cash or equity line from my home the best choice for acquiring this amount of money? I have a very good credit score and want to avoid a personal loan through a bank.
Oh.
Yeah, absolutely. This is prime. This is what you want to do. Take cash out and pay that off.
This is from no name for sure.
Person.
I'm afraid to apply for a loan because I work for the cannabis industry. Will I ever be able to get a loan through you without any issue? Okay, now if...
Whoa.
Because you're good at workarounds. If they've been in the cannabis industry for a while and they build up very large cash liquid assets... Do they still have to show where those came from, though? That's the problem. That's the challenge. They can't just say, but look, I have all this cash.
And cash is not verifiable.
Right.
If they can get all that cash, millions of dollars into the bank, I could use that as income.
Sure. This is from Ed.
Hi, Ed.
I'm in my last month of a 5-year repayment plan bankruptcy. I have a 5% loan. I want to refinance to get a better rate. My score's in the upper 600, low 700s. I can't do anything during the bankruptcy. Next month I'm done. Can you help?
Yes, absolutely. Call me.
As someone is doing in the background.
Hey, you know what? I know this isn't like... I know this doesn't get Shelby or folks like him business, but going back to the cannabis guy, what stops you if you have that much cash built up? What stops you from hiring a construction company and having them build you a house? I mean, do you have to have the government involved in that? I don't know. When you build your own home, can't someone just do that if they have the cash?
Well, I think that you got to buy the land. Oh. So, I mean, you could probably work a complete cash deal, buying it from the owner and everything else. But
if you had so much cash, of course, you can always do anything.
Well, I'm thinking some of these folks already have the land that they're growing their stuff.
Oh, yeah, good point.
They're building there.
Justin says, I have a couple houses I own outright, no mortgage, 2 duplexes and 1 house. The houses are forever home. The duplexes are rentals. We have credit card debt. How should I go about getting a loan to do a remodel on the rentals and pay off credit card? And if an equity loan was pulled, would that make my property tax go up?
So an equity loan you only want to use for short-term debt. So if you're going to go and remodel these homes and you're going to pay off credit card debt, you actually want to take your primary residence because you're going to get a lower interest rate on a primary refi, and you're going to refinance the primary, take cash out of that, deploy that cash into fixing up the rental properties and paying off the credit card debt.
Here's a nicer email, similar question, though, than the divorce guy. Mike says, we recently did a refi, and I was the only person on the loan, but my wife is also on the title. I was told that if I was to pass away, my wife would have to re-qualify for a new loan because I was the only one on the original loan. Is this true, or can the wife keep paying on the existing mortgage in my absence?
She can keep paying on the existing mortgage.
People get such bad advice.
Yeah.
I remember when we went golfing last time, you were so angry at other people in your industry that were doing some just unscrupulous scam. You come over, show me your phone, and go, look at this is what I have to deal with.
I know.
There's so many bad people out there.
I talked to this lady the other day for 8 minutes, and she said, I can't even believe how much more information that you've given me in 8 minutes than the last guy who I've been dealing with for 30 days.
Wow.
Brianna says, is it worth it to use equity to build a pool?
If, Yeah, you're not. It's like putting rims on a car. You know, if it's going to make you happy and it's going to make your life happy and your kids happy, then sure. But you're never going to get that $60,000 out of it. You know, so it's going to make it more desirable for the person buying your house. But it's not a dollar for dollar great investment.
We talked about that last time.
Invest in your happiness.
Pool's down there on, if you're just doing it for financial reasons, it's down on the list because people think everybody wants a pool. No, that also eliminates a lot of people.
You're right.
We should remind people, though, the number one thing to do if you're trying to improve the value of your home and also enjoy your life more is the kitchen remodel.
Yep.
And then the bathroom second. Hello there. Who we got? Rachel, go ahead.
Hi, my husband and I are going through a divorce, and I plan on buying him out of the house. So my question is, do I have to buy out his half of the remaining balance, or do I have to buy out half of his equity that he would have gotten if we sold the house?
So that's an agreement between the both of you. You can come up with an amount, and then, you know, as long as he signs off on it, then you guys are good. But I would assume that you would get an appraisal, the amount of equity that's there, you would buy him out of that equity.
All right, we got the weed chick who wrote in to call in to clarify using a fake name. Go ahead, Denise.
Great.
Weed chick, that's great. Basically, I wanted to find out because basically it is a totally legal business. We're not home growing or anything. He works for a legal company. You know, SMUD provides the power. They're out there to help. The checks are deposited in our account. I'm just afraid to write the information down. I talked to one bank, and they said, absolutely not. We don't work with the cannabis industry.
Yeah.
Will it matter if I go through you guys? I mean,
it's the same because it's federally illegal. So you're doing the state, but financing is all federal. So the feds are not going to allow you to purchase, refinance, nothing using any of those funds.
We're restricted, Denise, in terms of what we can do on the radio because of the Federal Communications Commission in terms of anything that's totally legal in California, for example, or Nevada. But because there's marijuana involved, we can't create revenue from it. It's just that's the F in FDIC, federal, or another F word that might come to mind.
Yeah, get out of our business.
All right, last one. This is from Brian.
Hi, Brian.
Says, my wife and I just refinanced with Shelby, and while both my wife and I are listed on the loan, we just used my wife's income because she has been at her job for 10 years, and I've had 3 employers in the last 2 years. You know, like the Jeffersons, I've been moving on up. Google it. The paperwork was much easier to submit just her information than all of mine. We closed a week ago. We got more cash than that guy trying to pick up chicks with his Wells Fargo bank statement you talked earlier. That was $93,000, and Shelby was amazing to work with. All right. On that note, thanks as always, Shelby. We will have you back because we can't get rid of you the minute you leave. Oh, wait, I've got more. He's online at financewithshelby.com. It's Shelby Elias of United Wholesale Lending, who has a bunch of voicemails to listen to based on his phone ringing. Thanks, Ben. Talk to you next time.